And welcome to the DRFBets Race of the Day. I'm Dan Illman. Wednesday's Race of the Day is the 5th at Woodbine. It is an optional claiming race for 3-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs on the Tapeta surface. Make sure you get involved with a DRFBets account. Remember that money back guarantee for races of the day in May. Bet $7 to win on any one horse in any race of the day this month. If your selection finishes second or third, you get your money back. Learn more promos.drf.com. Here's the field for Wednesday's Race of the Day. We're expecting a field of 7, again going 6.5 furlongs. You can access free formulator past performances for the race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with me. We'll take the field in post position order, beginning with the number 1, Stop Victimizing Me, the longest shot on the morning line, 22-1. Won his career debut for a paltry $25,000 maiden claiming tag at a humongous 43-1 price. And while he has not been disgraced in his 3 subsequent outings, there are some still questions regarding class. He is dropping in for the $75,000 optional tag here, but there are still questions regarding class as well as the pace scenario. He came from well back to register that long shot debut victory, and I'm not sure those tactics are going to work as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for Wednesday's Race of the Day, and we see the number 1, Stop Victimizing Me, near the back of the pack in a blue bar scenario. In Timeform US parlance, that means that the race favors horses on or near the early lead, and the horse expected to make the early lead is arguably the key to this race. That is your morning line favorite, the number 2, Super Stonehenge, who received a whopping 95 Beyer speed figure in his main track debut on dirt at Gulfstream 2 starts back. Now, I think it's worth noting that in that race, he received an easy lead over a blue bar scenario. Maybe that race isn't as good as it looks on paper, but if he can shake free from the number 7 in the early portion of this race, perhaps he'll be able to do it again. He has raced once since that 95 Beyer effort. It was in a Florida-bred optional claiming race at Gulfstream. He did not make the lead. He certainly did not run as well as he did in that 95 Beyer effort. He's also trying a synthetic surface for the first time. I'm not really worried about it. He is by Speightstown. The Speightstowns win 19% of the time on a synthetic surface, and while the dam went 0 for 2 on synth, she did earn an 82 Beyer speed figure when running a close second. This horse has a very strong pedigree. The dam is a half to several graded stakes winners on dirt. This is the female family of Ivana Vinalot, the dam of the great Songbird. And again, if you believe the 2, Super Stonehenge, can get to the front, he's going to be very dangerous in a blue bar scenario. I'm just not sure I want to take a short price on a horse doing something for the first time. And again, this will be his first race on a synthetic surface. The number 3 is the Boss Factor. The Boss Factor's lone win also came when able to shake clear on an easy lead, but he ran fast to win that race. And based on that maiden race last year, he went off at 6-5 in the $100,000 display stakes against Belmont Stakes bound Sir Winston. I think he found that distance a little bit too far for him. The company maybe a little bit too tough. He raced once at Gulfstream over the winter. He ran into Mucho. Don't think he liked dirt. That was his first and only race on dirt. Didn't seem to appreciate the surface. B. Mucho's a pretty good horse on dirt. Grade 1 placed in the Hopeful last year, willing to draw a line through that effort. And in his return to Woodbine, he ran in the Woodstock Stakes, where they went fast early, and he might have just simply been overmatched. So class relief, pace relief for the 3, the Boss Factor, who can certainly be close to this expected moderate pace. He is 2-1 on the morning line, second off the layoff for Josie Carroll. I am certainly using the Boss Factor in any kind of multiple race wagers. The 4, Victor's Dynasty, will be making his first start in about 6 months. He was listed as a vet scratch on May the 5th. Now, he won a maiden race sprinting at Woodbine 2 starts back. They tried to stretch him out in the King RV, and again, distance too far, class a little bit too tough. The winner of that race, Dundrum, just came back, made his seasonal debut in a rallying 3rd in the Queenston Stakes with a 71 Beyer speed figure, and I really think that horse has a good amount of long-term potential. That being said, Victor's Dynasty can be close to the pace, but I want to see one off the layoff, especially after being listed as a vet scratch. Same thing sort of goes with the 5. He's a thriller. Yes, he does have a race this year. He did not fire at all at 60-1 in the Woodstock, finishing well behind the Boss Factor. And right after that race, 15 days later, he was listed as a vet scratch on May the 11th. He has won 2 races. He is one of only 2 multiple race winners in the field, but his Beyer speed figures just seem a little light. Both wins came for the 40,000 tag. He's a thriller, might be up against it in this spot. that. Number 6 is Who Dat Mo, who is another horse returning off of a lengthy layoff. We have not seen him since October when he ran in a very live race for Ohio breds at Thistledown. That race has produced 3 next out winners. The winner of that race, Diamond Dust, actually came back to win 3 races in a row at Mahoning Valley and Belterra, 2 of those against state-bred stakes horses. Buyer speed figures between 60 and 69 in all 3 of those dirt wins. Who Dat Mo ran well in his one prior start over a Tapeta surface at Presque Isle Downs. He finished 3rd that day, going 2 turns, a distance that might be too far. My concern is the pace projector. Just take a look at Who Dat Mo. Way back in the pack, blue bar scenario, long layoff. He's got a lot of work to do. This isn't son of Uncle Mo that might bear watching down the road. The 7 is Crawl for the Bar. As we take a look at my top selection in this race, that's where I'm going. Norm McKnight's winning at 37% at the current Woodbine meet, and Crawl from the Bar always showed potential from day one. He actually was multiple stakes placed as a 2-year-old. It seemed like he lost his way for a while. He needed to drop into a $25,000 maiden claimer to secure his win, but he now has 2 runs at Woodbine this year. In his most recent race, an optional claiming race, a conditioned one at that, I thought he ran very well, going 5.5 furlongs. He broke nicely from the inside post. For a brief second, it looked like the trip wasn't going to work out. He was locked in down towards the inside as they swung into the stretch, but he was able to alter course 3 wide, found a seam in between horses, and then he went very comfortably with a competitive 80 buyer speed figure. We saw that pace projector. He is expected to be sitting 2nd off of Super Stonehenge in the early portion of this race, and he figures to be ratcheting up the pressure when the real racing begins. He'll have to show his mettle at 6.5 furlongs. He's stretching out a furlong off his most recent win, but at 3-1 in the 3rd choice in this race, he might actually offer the best value. Super Stonehenge is kind of the X factor in this race. We'll see how he handles synthetic. We'll see if he runs back to that big buyer maiden win of 2-back, but I prefer the 7 and the 3. I'll go with Crawl from the Bar over the Boss Factor in Wednesday's DRFBets Race of the Day. Remember your money back offer if you play this race with DRFBets. Learn all the details at promos.drf.com, but bet $7 to win on any one horse in this race of the day, and if your selection finishes 2nd or 3rd, you get your money back. Approximate post time for race number 5 at beautiful Woodbine on Wednesday, 8:47 Eastern. Good luck.